The world's top universities for art, design and architecture are interested in seeing my sketchbook. But I don't have one. What can I do? Well, that is a question that we have heard a lot from our students over the years. And today, I will give you two very practical options what you can do if you don't have a sketchbook. I will also share with you my own experience and definitely stay until the end because I will give you very practical and easy tip that should help you start sketching. As I mentioned in the beginning, having a sketchbook is one of the things that is required by the best universities for art, design and architecture. If you have not yet done the research, don't worry, I will share with you what I have found by showing you a few screenshots from website of these top universities. Let's have a look at the first one. Your portfolio should include how you may have applied any relevant research to your ideas and making, perhaps through the use of sketchbooks. Next one. You might demonstrate authenticity of your work by bringing sketchbooks. Third one. It is important to show your source material, references and influence through sketchbooks. And the last one, the best one for the last, because this one really spells it out. It explicitly says, we like to see sketchbooks. So I don't know if you have noticed, because I went through the screenshots very quickly, but one of the main reasons why these top universities like sketchbooks so much, and probably the main reason, is because they want to see your thinking process. Let's bring in the last screenshot. They basically say, let's read the whole thing. Sketchbooks help us to see your process and give us an insight into how you think. To show how you think means showing your thinking process. And this is the ultimate reason why they like Sketchbook so much. So if you don't know what thinking process is or how to do it, I would recommend you watch my previous episode, which is called Art Portfolio Must Have Thinking Process, where I explain what it is, but also tell you how you can do it. Obviously, in most of the cases, the universities ask you to bring your sketchbooks with you when you're attending interviews, which is important. But the most important thing why the sketchbooks are necessary is for you to bring individual pages from your sketchbook into your actual digital or physical portfolio. The best students not only present their final artworks, but also provide sketchbook pages to support idea making behind their final artworks. If you are applying to a degree where you need to prepare a portfolio, my colleagues and I put together an amazing tutorial on secrets behind creation of a successful portfolio. In the tutorial we covered the key points, what you must do in order to create a successful portfolio, but we also reveal a secret element behind each of the key points which people normally wouldn't think of. And we also made a practical checklist that comes with the tutorial. So you can get a free access now on teachingofart.com/portfolio. So if you want to get accepted and you want to make your dream come true, definitely check it out. We have established the importance of having a sketchbook. Now, let me tell you a quick story. So, a few months ago, I went to one of the greatest galleries in the world, the Tate Modern in London. And I saw the whole class of students there, and there were quite a lot of them. I don't know, maybe like 50, 60 high school students. And every single one of them had a sketchbook in their hand. And they were all over the gallery, redrawing installations and paintings. They stood in front of the paintings and did not mind people around them. They basically looked very natural while doing it. They didn't mind other people looking at them, looking into their sketchbook at all, because normally people would find it, difficult and embarrassing. And I was thinking, well, why do they look so natural? And then I thought, yeah, oh yeah, well, I've realized that this is part of their culture. You know, they've been having sketchbooks since very young age. And that is the reason why they stand there naturally doing it. So having a sketchbook is in their culture. It is basically part of their mindset. And as I promised in this tutorial, I will be sharing my own experience because I didn't grow up in the environment that would promote sketchbooks. The truth is that you don't need a sketchbook to present your ideas and concepts as long as you do sketches on a piece of paper. I was lucky. I had a very visionary art teacher and she guided me since the age of 5. And for every single artwork, we would start with at least one sketch. And the reason for doing this or doing sketches is very simple. Firstly, you can work more freely on A4 paper, and you also get a little bit more like better feel for proportions and the subject itself. And secondly, you can experiment with techniques such as mixing colors. So, you know, you can make mistakes, you can learn from them before doing your final artwork. This became part of my culture, part of my own mindset. So if I paint or even do more complex drawing, I would start with at least one A4 sketch. So that is your option number one. Option number one is basically you do individual sketches on a sheet of A4 paper. For every project, you should not only do a sketch of what you're drawing before drawing it, you should also have a several pages on thinking process. Once again, if you don't know what this means, definitely watch my previous episode, Art Portfolio Must Have Thinking Process. Now, this method could have a few disadvantages if not used correctly. Obviously, you must keep all of your individual sheets. So do not bin them as soon as you finish your artwork. Or at least remember to take a good photo of them. Secondly, and I've already said this before, 1 or 2 A4 sheets per project is not enough. You should have around 6 to 15 pages per each project. And lastly, students often do not record every single idea using this method, which is a shame because, you know, everything that is in here needs to be in your sketchbook or on the paper. So keep that in mind. Now, this method is a very good substitute for not having a sketchbook. It has worked for me for many years, and I would say a lot of our students have been using this method and, you know, they've been successful. So final words on this, it just comes down to having a correct mindset of correctly using this option. I think some of you might have already guessed it, but the second option is that if you don't have a sketchbook, get one. Unfortunately, the obvious answer tends to be the best answer in a lot of the cases. Now, you may think, wow, these guys, why did I watch this? Well, the truth is that if someone told me this advice a year ago, I would shut it down. I would refuse to hear it because I was already doing my sketches and thinking process on the individual A4 sheets. And I thought this method was sufficient. And I actually have had a couple of sketchbooks at home, but I wasn't using them correctly. I was using them for writing down ideas and mostly for writing down text. And in that way, I would have all my ideas in one place, which is fine. But the main purpose of having a sketchbook is to help you get accepted to university, as well as help you to grow as an artist, designer, or an architect. So your sketchbook should have ideas, concepts, and research behind creation of individual art projects. There needs to be text, photos, drawings, paintings, and most of all, the thinking process. Another advantage of having a sketchbook is that not all of your projects are realized. You don't produce final artwork for every single project. So having everything in one place is beneficial, especially if you can present your sketchbooks during your interview. It may trigger some very interesting conversations. Every year we get new students and they struggle to get any meaningful ideas and concepts into their artwork. They're always scratching the surface. They think if the artwork has one wow idea, that will do, but it simply won't. There needs to be at least 5 ideas behind one artwork and another 10 ideas which you came up with but you didn't use. There needs to be experimentation. There needs to be the whole story behind your projects. And I wanted to help our students, so I had to change my own mindset to start using the sketchbook properly. So I went and bought a sketchbook. And the results are really beyond my any expectations. I actually regret not getting one much sooner. If you know what you're doing, somehow it just offers a room for more experimentation, and it also consolidates your ideas behind a project. So it is easier to create a story as you work page by page. So now I recommend getting a sketchbook to all of our students, old and new. Getting and using a sketchbook is more effective than using individual sheets of paper. So option number 2 is likely to bring you better results. Also, if you have a sketchbook and it is decent, then you have something that you can take with you to an interview. You cannot really bring a stack of paper with you. It just doesn't make any sense. So, option number 2, I would definitely recommend. But you can always glue your individual sheets into your sketchbook. So once again, I would recommend taking a good photo of these sheets before you do that, because I've actually tried this, and in order to fit it in your sketchbook, you have to maybe downsize them by cutting them a little bit so they get destroyed. Anyway, both these options are completely fine to use. So if you use them well, then there should be no problem. By the way, if you're interested in seeing what a sketchbook can look like, or you would like to see some artworks, our students' artworks, as well as photos from galleries, museums and exhibitions. Basically, if you're looking for an inspirational source, just check out our Instagram or TikTok. You can search for Teaching of Art, and hopefully I will see you there. Now, I want to talk to you about one last but very important thing. Let's assume you get your first sketchbook. Well, what is the next step? Obviously, most important thing is to start actively using it. And I don't know if you have noticed, but throughout the whole video, I've been talking about culture and mindset. So if you have not done sketching before, then you will need to challenge yourself. You will need to change your mindset. I think when people talk about sketchbook, most of us imagine you should be sketching people on the bus or in the underground or standing in a gallery in front of a painting and sketching. But those are romantic ideas. Actually, when it comes to doing these, it is much harder than you initially think. People just stare at you and they want to have a look into your sketchbook, and naturally most of us get scared and it's awkward because it is actually breaching our comfort zone. And the truth is that you don't have to do this. You can easily start using Sketchbook from comfort of your home. If you attend an art class or course, you can always use Sketchbook for making some keynotes plus sketches. And these are actually, what you can see on the screen, these are actually tutorials from my YouTube channel. So if you don't know where to start at all, you could maybe just, for example, watch my YouTube video on how to draw and shade a sphere, and you can put the keynotes from the video in your sketchbook alongside a drawing, and this also shows interest in art in general. It will also help your skills because you'll learn a little bit maybe about shading. So it is a very good starting point if you're completely lost. But the most important thing is that for every final project, you need to show your thinking process. So before you even start working on your final piece, you should use your sketchbook and start developing ideas and concepts for your projects. I know that I've told you this probably already 10 times, but I just want you to see how important this point is. And again, if you don't know what thinking process is, or you don't know how to do it, then you can just watch my episode, Art Portfolio Must Have Thinking Process. I actually really explain it quite well in there. To summarize, in order for your university application to be successful, you need additional pages in your portfolio to support your final artworks. I have covered two options. Option number one, you can use individual pages, like normal A4 sheets of paper, for example, used for printing, to do your sketches. Option number two was buy and use a sketchbook. I would definitely recommend the option number two. Buying a sketchbook will bring you more benefits. For example, it keeps all your ideas and sketches in one place. It is something that you can physically take with you to an interview. And most importantly, I think by using Sketchbook, you are likely to generate more ideas than using A4 sheets. I also mentioned to actively do sketching is a question of changing your mindset. And I highlighted to you that you should start using your sketchbook from your home. You don't have to go anywhere in order to capture the thinking process for your project. So I hope watching this encouraged you to get a sketchbook, and in the next episode I will cover exactly what to buy in order to create a professional sketchbook while keeping the costs low. So hopefully see you next time. Bye for now.